Welcome to the Veronica Edwards Show, where we have fun financial conversations that everyone listening can apply to their personal and professional life. I'm your host, Veronica Edwards, CPA, and today we are back, the second part of season 6 in 2026. I can't believe it's already been 6-7 months, maybe even 8 at this point, since we have been on YouTube, completely independent, sponsored by my business, Balance Virtually, LLC, that provides accounting and consulting services. So as always, I want to thank the V team because we are growing, guys. We have over 20,000 views on YouTube, and we've hit our 100 subscriber goal. So we're trying to hit 250 now and eventually to 1,000. But we are so thankful for all of the listeners. Again, if you have any questions, you can go over to balancevirtually.com. You can listen to prior shows at veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com. So let's jump into today's episode. We have the executive director of RSAA, and this work is led by someone I really respect. They're also a client of Balance Virtually LLC and a friend of the Veronica Edwards Show, our first community partner sponsor. So with this being the first show airing in Black History Month, I knew that it made sense to have RSAA here representing both history and building future systems rooted in equity, accountability, and community leadership. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Miss Torre White-Garrison. Hey, friend.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey. Thank you for having me. It's like a little flashback, from
Yes.
the very first time. It's been years ago. Very first
It's
time
been
on your
5
show.
years. Yes,
Yeah.
we were talking about that before we were recording, and I met, as I call her, Tor, 5 years ago through a Mountain BizWorks class that I still teach. I'm teaching a class in February in Black History Month, financial tools, and I met your beautiful mother. I'm looking at a painting of me and my family that she made on my wall, the great Jenny Pickens, amazing self-taught artist. But yeah, so Tor, fill us in. What's been going on for the last 5 years? When I met you, you was just Torre White.
Yes. So much has happened. You met me at the beginning of me launching TW Consulting. At that
Yes.
time was Torre White LLC and then moved to TW Consulting. I was still working for the government and COVID had just happened.
Yes.
Um, it was just so much. I think I had just bought my house. Like it was so
Yes.
many different things happening, right? And I remember that first meeting and I was like, I might like her. And then
Yes.
I want to say we had like a sidebar conversation, and I was sharing my story of just like my mental health journey and
Yes.
everything. And then you were telling me about your sister, and we just kind of connected and have remained connected since then.
Yes.
I've gotten married, started a nonprofit,
Yep.
still doing my consulting work. It's just, yeah, it's been a lot.
Yes. You've been that girl, honey. I've been cheering you on. I'm like, thank you. Thank you, Tor, for bringing me along the ranks with you. Thank you for allowing me to provide accounting, fractional CFO services to RSAA. But before
Yes.
we jump into all of that, for those that did not watch any of the prior shows when you were on prior to us being on YouTube, if they're not familiar with your amazing show that you had, tell us a little bit about you. Are you from Asheville, your journey, and how did you become the first and only executive director of RSAA?
Yeah, so I am Torre White-Garrison. I feel like depending on when you met me, it's Tor. You know, and really that name was birthed out of college when I very first started my freshman year, and um, people was just like Tor, and I was like, who is Tor? But apparently, the way my name's spelled, that is how they were pronouncing it. And then it turned into my writing name. And so it's
Oh,
kinda just, so I started the show Simply Tour, of just being simply who I am and being able to really recreate, kinda an identity that I felt comfortable with and
uh-huh.
felt good about. But yeah, so still continuing to write, still continuing to advocate for people and for people who typically don't know how to advocate for themselves, don't feel like they have a voice, still continue to make good trouble, shaking things up. I'm all about shaking a table, honey.
Yes. Where did you
But
get that
RSAA,
from? Yeah, but
yeah,
no,
look,
I wanna go back to your beginnings because where are you from, friend?
from Asheville, born and raised, multi-generationally
Hey.
Ashevillean. I've left a few times, but Asheville is my home. I love the mountains. Um, Asheville is beautiful, but
Yes.
Asheville also has, some histories that's not always great, but it's my
Mhm.
heart. No matter how far away
Yes.
I go, Asheville is my heart.
Did you ever think in 2026 you'll be the executive director of RSAA? Tell us about how that
I
even came about.
I didn't even think I would ever go back to nonprofit work, if I'm being honest. I have always it's weird because I think I have always ran from the things that I know I do well because
Mhm.
I didn't like how it was being done. I'm one of those people that if I don't like a system, I'm just like, to heck with the system.
Yep.
But for RSAA, when I first got introduced, it was actually a friend of mine sent me a message and was like, you should look into this. It was a project of Zedek Social Justice Fund. And
Mhm.
at that time, the project looked as if it would just be a holder of monetary reparations for Black people in Asheville and Buncombe County. That is all that it was supposed to do, right? And so I came in and immediately was like, okay, using my experience with organizing with labor unions, with the government, I was like, this can be so much more and so much more impactful. And I realized what we tend to do a lot is create systems that require Black people to constantly have to come back to get resources versus giving them the tools to go ahead and do what they need to do
Mhm.
when it is necessary for them, right? And
Yeah.
so I immediately was like, "Oh, this can be more. This can be a nonprofit. This can be a hub. This can do way more than holding monetary reparations." We
Mhm.
don't think about reparations on a larger scale. We don't think about reparative justice on a larger scale. And so I started just moving things along, hired a lawyer, a nonprofit lawyer to be shout out to our nonprofit lawyer.
I
But
love your lawyer.
but to say, "Hey, I really this is my idea. What do you think?" And immediately he was on board helping, had people around that was able to support the idea, using people across the nation who have been in reparations work, and we were able to move into our first office in January of 2024.
Mhm.
Um, by that was it January 2024 or 2020? I believe it was January 2024. And in 2025, no,
I
oh
feel
Lord,
like
all the year at
before
the end of
Helene.
so yeah, at the end of 2024, we got our nonprofit status.
Mhm.
And we have grown tremendously in a short period of time.
You have.
We're worth a multi-million dollar nonprofit. We have a property that was conveyed to us in the name of reparations through the presbytery. It's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey. It has been a journey that has been taxing at times, but remembering the why, I think, is what keeps me showing up, remembering why I'm in this for more than just, a name for myself. I'm in this because I really believe in my community, and I really believe that a lot of times the way we show up is because we haven't been given the opportunity to show up differently.
Mm. I always tell Tori I can listen to her talk all the time. She talked good. Should have been a lawyer too. It's still enough time.
Yeah,
But
and it is.
It is, because we do need lawyers doing the work that you're doing with reparations. So you're from Asheville, Tor. So people be talking and they hear reparations, and sometimes it just stings people in a certain way. So for those that don't know what RSAA even stands for, what's the work that you guys do? How do you describe this organization and the role that RSAA has in the community?
Yeah, we're a Black-led, organization that is rooted in community. We help people to reimagine reparations, reimagine, healing, reimagine joy in a way that allows those most impacted to be at the forefront, the decision makers, the nucleus of the work. A lot of times when we talk about systems and we talk about issues, the people who are at the table are not the people who have been impacted. And
Mhm.
so we want to make sure that we're flipping that. We're putting the people who are impacted at the center, but also being intentional about not causing additional intentional harm. I always say there will be harm, right? Because anytime you're healing, harm shows up. But
Yes.
you can do it in a way that's not intentional.
Right.
You can do it in a way that's very strategic. You can do it in a way that is holistic. And so I like to call our supporters, our group, our community, a ecosystem of organized disruptors. And so our nucleus
Ooh.
is our Black Asheville and Buncombe County residents, right? And then right after that nucleus is our distance disruptors, who are also Black bodied people across this nation who believe in reparative justice, who believe that joy is resistance, who believe that we deserve healing and that we're more than trauma, right? And then you have my team who is supporting these people directly, right? And then we have space shifters who are non-Black body
Mm,
people ready and willing to move the spaces they already occupy. I don't
mm,
like the word allyship. I think that people use the word and just run with it with no action. Space shifter requires action.
mm.
And it has worked out beautifully, right? Like, Space
Yes.
Shifter is the reason we were able to get our property. And so then we have our funders because we recognize that some people just want to give money. They don't
Mhm,
really want to do real work internally. Not saying that they can't get to that place, but sometimes it's easier for people to just shift resources
mhm,
instead of necessarily shifting things within their bodies, right?
taking
And then we
notes.
have while we don't receive government funding, we still work with government agencies, and we work with local government, and we work with other people who just are ready to do something different in our
Mhm,
society. So I call them organized disruptors because you cannot get to disruption. You cannot get to doing things differently without being organized in the process. We have to know why we show up. We have to know what role we play, and we have to know what our ask is.
I ain't hear not one, not one, girl, you talk good. Yes, okay, so I keep hearing space shifters, that's an action, like, you have to do something behind that. I'm hearing reparative justice, I'm hearing organized disruptors. What is the true definition of reparative justice? People throw that out a lot too, and I just wanna
Yeah.
make
So
sure.
so for me, I think that reparative justice is a sometimes we're made to think is complex. For me, I like for my team to look at it as what we're doing is not only working to repair a system, but repair a people. And
Mm,
so that is where the justice is getting to the point that you figure out where you show up in a system, what that feels like, how that stands for you, and what needs to adjust in order for you to be whole within it. It also is a place that allows people to come from different walks of life, different experiences, and recognize that across the board, we're all asking for the same thing.
mhm,
We're all asking to be able to not just exist, but thrive in a space that people believe is this American dream, right? We all deserve the ability to thrive.
Uh-huh.
I always tell my team we're not chasing freedom because freedom comes with a cost, but what we're chasing is liberation.
Mm.
And with liberation, people have to
Writing that
understand the
down.
way someone else is liberated does not mean that you will agree with them. It means that you will not intentionally place barriers that will stop them from their liberation.
All right now. Okay.
And so when we look at that big umbrella, that is the reparative justice. It's all these different areas. It's in the education system. It's in, economics. It's in the criminal justice system. It's all these systems that have been created to ultimately, if we look at history, really harm Black people, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I could get real political, but I'm not. But with
Right. Right.
the systems that harm us, and how can we make sure that if we have to be within the system, how do we make sure that we can repair it in a way that it's not intentionally harming folks?
Yeah. Tor, that leads me into my next question. How is RSAA intentionally building systems that ensure that this work lasts beyond just this moment or just our generation?
Yes. So first and foremost, we really try to bring joy back into it. A lot of times when we're doing this work, the reason people leave it is because it's so taxing, it's so emotional, it's so damaging to our internal systems, right? We're
Hmm.
constantly showing up in a way that we have to say why we're there. We have to beg for people to see us. We have to beg for them to listen to us. We have to
Hmm.
educate white folks on why they should listen to Black people when they say that we are being negatively impacted by a system. But we don't get to find joy. I always look back to my ancestors and say, how did they manage to work through some of these harmful times
Hmm.
in love? And it was because of joy, music, the way that, like even when I think about when I was younger and times where like I need to soothe myself, I'm humming and rocking, right? The way we get together and we can have a card game or we can have, just music playing and we're enjoying each other.
Yes.
I really wanted us to center joy because I think when you come into a space and joy is the focus, it allows you to open up and see other things versus coming into the space where trauma is the focus. So for
Mm.
us, it has worked out well because we're creating areas that allow for people to come in and think joyous, but be educated in the process. Right?
Yes.
And really lean into Black people. We're not asking you to go out here and educate the masses. We're asking you to figure out where you belong in the system and how do you get out. What is the reparations you owe to yourself? What is the thing that you can actually control in this moment that is going to allow you to not operate out of trauma? Trauma
Mm.
will make us take a carrot when we know there's a whole field back there that we can feast on. Joy
Oh,
allows us to see the feast, right? So we show up in that way, but we also have educational series. We also have our legacy reclaimed that allow us to study our history and learn about where we come from, learn our culture, and not the culture that um I'm trying to figure out the best way to say, okay, I got it. Not the culture that dominant America has taught us, but the culture that we can actually research and learn about ourselves. We also create space for civic engagement. We don't tell people who to vote for. We don't tell people who's right, who's wrong. But what we do believe is every single individual needs to understand how to issue map, what their issue is, how to ask questions, how to make informed decisions. Not the decision of your neighbor, not the decision of your mother or your father, but the decision that is going to help you into a space of liberation.
mm.
Um, Also just recognizing that even when we talk about reparations, looking at the different areas in which reparations work, and then we also, because of Helene, we have essentially been given reparations out through our Helene recovery.
We
We
have.
didn't, cause Helene, but we also were in a place of privilege when Helene hit, despite the fact that many of us were individually impacted, we did have resources to be able to give to community, and so we were able to serve over 13,000 individuals in a short
Wow.
period of time with very little staff,
Hmm.
because we recognize that this is what's required. A community has to be able to be whole in order to do tough work, right? And so RSAA just shows up in multitude of ways. We really want to give the tools for Black people to be able to make decisions. We want to give the tools for non-Black people to go out here and do the work with each other and not necessarily have other people come do the work for them. Um, we also have another side of RSAA that is our reparations fund, the monetary reparations, that when it is time to make that decision, that will be completely up to generational architects, which are our Black body individuals in Asheville and Buncombe County, to be able to be used to impact Black community in a way that needs to happen. We move at the speed of trust and not with urgency necessarily, and so, yeah, I think so far it has worked out in our favor.
Yes, it has. I'm the accountant and fractional CFO for RSAA, and getting that donation the beginning of 2025 for 690 Hayward Street has been amazing. And just all the other great things you're doing. I love some of the titles of your programs, Blackalicious.
Mhm.
You've had genealogy cohorts. You're even allowing folks to go to Africa for just what, $250?
Yeah, so we've had to revamp that a little bit, but we're building out an entire, program that allows us to trace our lineage, and then a part of that program is to go to Africa,
So
something that a
cool.
lot of us have not had the opportunity to do, but because we sometimes it's just good to be surrounded by people who look like you, who where we're in a country that has told us so many bad things about the continent, and for
Uh-huh.
us to go and see that it's actually so much more than what we learn in our history books.
Exactly. And I love that you're putting people like myself, your staff, it's all Black led. I had the privilege of doing a budget series, a lunch and learn, and I hope that we're going to do some more. And I like that you didn't go first with when people think reparations, oh, you guys just want to give Black people money. They didn't earn it, da 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 da. Everything you said is you're giving people a choice. You want to give people their option for what their liberation looks like, and you're guiding them with different education for them to make the best decision. And I like that you're not forcing it down people's throats. So before we go, this is going to air in Black History Month. So Tora, I would love for you to share with us what programming you guys have going on in February and the rest of the year, and how can we support RSAA?
Yes. So all of our programs are listed on our website, rsaasheville.org. However, for Black History Month, we have, so just leaning into the part where I say we center joy and love. We have our Black Love photography session that's actually
Ooh.
happening February 7th, I believe. And so this is a time to come out. It's not saying that everyone there has to be Black, but what we're centering is Black love. Well, we've been told so many times it doesn't exist.
Uh.
We're doing headshots, we're doing couples pictures, we're doing family photos,
Ooh, we
just
there.
giving
We
time
there.
and space for people to be able to come together and have a snapshot. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to do photography or. We also have a Black Alicious event happening February 6th. We have a coffee and bagel is switched from our lunch and learn that we will be discussing issue mapping and civic engagement. We're partnering with some different organizations like YMI to be able to host some different programs through February. So
Wonderful.
it's going to be, busy, busy, busy. But more than anything, I hope that people don't just stop in February because it's Black History Month. Black history is
Yes.
every day. I'm black every day, but I'm blickety black in February,
What? I'm about to be wearing all black, super black. It's gonna be dumb black. Like, we be going
Yes.
stupid with it. Yes, but we
Yeah.
should. We should be
Yes.
proud of who you are.
Yes, at all times. And so I hope that people take this opportunity to really go into spaces that maybe they're not comfortable in, or research something outside of Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and Malcolm X. It's so many other people who have done powerful things to move this movement forward. Learn who your
Yes.
local people are who are doing this
Yes.
hard work, and then also remember that it is a midterm election. And so definitely ask questions, research the candidates. I always say, just because your skin folk does not mean you can vote. So just
Come on
research
now.
and know, show up educated, show up with the knowledge to do what is necessary for your liberation.
Yes. Well, thank you, Tor and RSAA, for being a community partner sponsor
Yes.
for the Veronica Edwards Show. Thank you guys so much. Always supporting us and showing us what it looks like when purpose and financial stewardship move together. So I'm just honored that you saw something in me to allow me to assist with the financial stewardship of RSAA. And I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Veronica Edwards Show. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and never miss a prior episode. You could go back to veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com. And until next time, stay balanced and financially savvy.